Hi everyone, welcome to this video and thank you for your interest. Today I wanted to share a prediction of myself of what I think the future of the internet will look like. And the future in the internet, especially when it comes to privacy and data. And I think we have currently the situation that there is not much privacy, and other companies try to get as much information from us as they can and try to force us to provide reliable data, like Facebook trying to force us to use our real name. And in Germany, for example, the government still has too little clue of any kind of data. So in the meantime, Germany is also very much engaged in protecting privacy and so on. So will the future be the case that we are, as citizens, will be all totally transparent? Companies can do whatever they want. Governments will be able to do whatever they want, and so on. I think us being more transparent is one part of the equation. But I think a working internet in the future will be an internet where the government, first of all, the government will be much more transparent so that the people know what they are voting for. So the government will work very much transparent, and as soon as you will work much more transparent, and then the government needs to force companies, especially institutions of power, to be much more transparent. So what I'm actually trying to say is you can you provide some basic data in the future when you're poor or middle class, but as soon as you as an institution or as a private person, because you're a billionaire or millionaire, reach a certain level of income, then you need to become transparent, much more transparent when it comes to your salaries, your basically everything. As soon as you're, for example, a company like Facebook or a government, you need to, at some level of financial strength, or also according to the amount of data you're using as a company, you will be forced to become transparent. So that means the government, for example, in Germany or in Tanzania, will be many data will be visible for citizens from outside. Meaning, like, I can check into some government communication, to some government representation, and can see what they are doing at the moment and how much money does it cost. Second, companies, powerful companies, will need to become transparent as soon as they reach a certain amount of power, as soon as they manage a certain amount of data, and so on. So what will be the big? But also I think our citizens will have to provide some basic information, and that means I think we will need to go into the internet with our passports, with our IDs. That means that in order to demand transparency from public institutions, as also in order to get services, like services from the government, services from companies, and from companies doing transactions and so on, I think we also need to do our part in being transparent in the internet to the point where we at least are identifiable with our name. And I think as soon as the government has, for example, told every citizen, okay, you need to move in the internet with your name, governments need to be also need to move around in a transparent way. I think then you can better start controlling privacy. So, for example, when I can say, okay, there's certain medical data from me in the internet. I only want and these and that medical data. I don't know if somebody would need to be forced to provide medical data. I'm not sure about that. But let's assume I have medical data in the internet, but I only want to share this with my healthcare provider, not with the government. So as soon as everybody provides the same amount of data, it is easier to make regulations. Because at the moment we are in a privacy, and I think like we are in the information age. The future is not less information. It will be more information. And the idea is indeed to standardize it in a sense-making way, to make it more transparent for everybody. So, which also means like things like, for example, a social credit system, I think are inevitable. They will come at some point. It is a question whether they will be to punish citizens due to whatever weird taste of the government. But I think in China also this is indeed to that point a problem that the government in China, I think, is not very transparent. as it is no government is really transparent here in the world at the moment, and this needs to change. And I think if you want to implement, for example, services, automated services, let's say I lose my job there and there, and the government immediately sees he's not employed anymore, he doesn't get any money, so he will automatically get social services. I don't need to apply, don't need to write forms and so on. So these kind of services can be wonderfully automated. Or when you provide certain health data and you decide you don't want to share it with companies at the government, but you want to share it with your healthcare provider because you have a chip implanted and so on. I think these as soon as people provide reliable data about themselves and institutions and governments, it is easier to formalize this. So to summarize it, I think the future is not less data, it will be more data. And as soon as everybody is forced to provide the certain, at least minimum amount of data, and you can make laws, you can make regulations, you can provide much more efficient services, and then you can decide, okay, are there other data or are there other things I want to share, or and get additional benefits, like, as I said, automated reactions from my healthcare provider, Mr. So-and-so, your pulse is way too high, or we have registered a very alarming blood sugar, and so on. These services, I don't know if they should be forced. I don't think so. No, they should not be forced. But this is, depending on what you provide, you can get additional services. But the amount of information you provide needs to be standardized. And I think we have to say goodbye to the idea that we can get all the information services from the internet while providing no information from us at all. I think this is where it leads to this kind of companies trying to grab information from you and you trying to protect yourself, but in the meantime also you don't want to you have many email addresses and you don't want to be tracked yourself. I think if information is there, it needs to be accessible for everyone, and companies and institutions need to be much more transparent about what they do, and also need to share their own data concerning money, concerning certain money aspects, concerning the people, concerning what they actually do. So I think the future will be more transparency, better regulations due to a commitment from everyone, and then better services, better information and information services for everyone. These are my predictions. Let me know what you think. Whether you think I'm completely off, we can't have more data in the internet, or whether the idea is okay. Let me know what you think. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.